Hello there. My name is KZ Fru. I'm a professional speedrunner. Whitney and I are very happy you could join us. Speedrunning is not easy. It's a hobby that requires a lot of time, research, and practice. But today, I'll be sharing with you some of my own personal secrets to success. I'll be playing back my recent Los Santos speedrun, which took place in the video game Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, and I will be providing you with my expert knowledge and commentary to go alongside my gameplay. Hopefully you will find this tape helpful. I wish you the best in your fast gaming endeavors.
Alright, enough of that nightmare fuel. Let's play some San Andreas. This is only going to be the Los Santos segment for the time being, but if there's interest, I can, of course, cover the rest of the game. But let's go ahead and hop right into it. The first mission, of course, is going to be Big Smoke, but even before that, you're going to have to do the treacherous act of pedaling your way from Ballas territory back to Grove Street. Should be pretty straightforward. One thing that I think is very important with learning these games is mostly just learning the routes. Of course, you can mostly get by with just heading in the right general direction. But if you really want to improve your times, which I imagine is why you're watching this video, you're going to want to focus on your driving routes, just making sure you're taking clear, concise, efficient ways to and from your objectives. And of course, you can do that by just watching the video. Some of the more complicated stuff I'll be happy to explain on the voiceover. Nothing too fancy going on so far. Just fast pedaling is done by tapping the key instead of just pressing it. Big Smoke, here we go. So the first thing I do is I accelerate a little bit forward on my bike, which I get on to spawn traffic. If you don't do that, traffic won't spawn, and I generally grab the first vehicle I find. Taxi works just fine for this mission. And now you're going to want to push the rear end of Sweet just a little bit. You got to be very delicate with him. If you're too aggressive, he will just spin out, and that'll cost you a lot of time. I take very deliberate routes in order to throw off the Ballas voodoo that chases you. If you'll notice, I'll pass very close by this building here. That's going to hopefully cause him to run into it if he's following you on the left-hand side. Also, I'll pass by this low concrete barrier here on the left. And finally, the last little push here towards the cutscene trigger. You can also pass by that yellow thing on the left very closely if the Ballas voodoo is harassing you. You get this little short, unskippable cutscene, and now your primary objective is going to be to find either a cop or a police bike, or even both. I say cop because cops generally have guns, but you can also run over gang members, Balla gang members, or drug dealers if you can find them. I was fortunate enough to find a cop. I grabbed his gun. I very quickly grabbed the cop bike. Cop bike comes in handy a lot later. At the end of the Los Santos segment when you use it on Green Saber. And now we're just going to sit at this intersection and wait for Ryder to pedal his ass over here. Pushing Ryder is also recommended because it, of course, speeds things along in a speed run. It's pretty important. He needs to be within a certain radius of the marker in Grove Street in order for you to complete the mission, so that's why, you know, all of this is necessary. So that's why we don't just sprint to the marker. We instead just, you know, kind of push him along. Come on, Ryder, let's go. Come on, we gotta get back to Grove Street now. And, of course, it's not the easiest thing to do with a bike. I might have already mentioned that, but, you know. So, right around this bend, this little, like, corner here, I tend to speed off. That way I have enough time to get to the garage, park my bike, and then enter the marker. And Ryder will be there generally. If you're in a car, I'd wait until the last intersection before Grove Street to speed off. Otherwise, by the time you get to the marker, you'll have to wait around for Ryder. Or he'll just have stopped because you're too far away from him, which is also a pain. You can skip that cutscene after that line there. Just next step, go ahead and head into the Johnson house. You're going to want to walk forwards a little bit before you turn around to leave. Otherwise, CJ will just stand in front of the door like a dingus. Very important to have a gun. If you don't have one, there's actually a location in Grove Street. Pretty easy to find. It's in the corner, tucked away. So there you go. You're gonna want that gun, of course, to blow up Ryder's car. It saves you 25 seconds. I have a video on that. You might have seen it. In case you're wondering why, it's to skip a cutscene that occurs after you leave the barbershop. So nothing too fancy on this mission. You might see me despawn traffic like I just did there. Just flick the camera down, then back up, and usually traffic will despawn if it's far enough away. Worst thing that can happen here is Ryder gets run over after you leave the pizza parlor, but otherwise, you know, just drive over here. Nothing really to worry about. Traffic accidents can, of course, slow you down the way. They slowed me down when I hit that Tahoma. T-boned them. Pick any haircut you like. Doesn't really change anything. Depends on what kind of look you're going for. I go for the afro these days, usually. Caesar and Stash is the fastest one to get, but it's, you know, a matter of frames. Give CJ kind of a vile look, if you ask me. He doesn't look too good with a mustache, of course. Skip that cutscene, which you can only do because we blew up Ryder's car and failed the mission already. And then go ahead, buy a pizza, and then exit the menu. Like most cutscenes in San Andreas, you can't skip them immediately. You have to wait a little bit. And then just sprint across the street to Ryder's truck, push it around, let Ryder get in, and then drive off. Sometimes he does get run over there, which is a real pain, but that's a rare instance, thankfully. And just drive Ryder home. Nothing too fancy there. Tag it up turf, where it gets kind of annoying. There's a couple things that you can easily fail, namely the tag behind the wall and also the jump to tag number 6, I believe, is a pain. But go ahead, head down the cul-de-sac over to Sweet's house. Head right into his car and drive straight up to Idlewood. The start of this run, there's not really a whole lot going on. Cleaning the hood and drive-through are probably the most ridiculous missions in terms of RNG. Everything else is pretty straightforward. Tagging up turf, like I said, can be a little annoying, but it's really nothing too big in the grand scheme of things. So go ahead and skip that cutscene. First tag right here. Bleep. There you go. Next one, jump over this fence, and you have this low wall. And Jesus, it's so hard to find sometimes. Like, I really struggled here. I didn't go far in enough into that little nook. Lately I've been better about it, but yeah, that was a bad third tag there. If you really want, you can jump the wall and then tag it, and then jump the wall again. But obviously preferable if you're able to get it through the wall. Head into what do you say? Ballas country, Ballas territory. I don't know. And slide into that marker. You can sometimes fly over that marker. It's kind of annoying, so make sure not to do that. Here's tag number 4, and then head down this alleyway. Some people like to try and shoot one of these ballas. I just tend to go for the jump here through the cutscene so that you're still moving even though you're in a cutscene. Tag number 5, and then jump this fence. And here's the annoying little jump to tag number 6. Let's see if I get it. And I do. Nice. Okay, so my reference point there is like that little bar on the side. You see between those two windows? I like to jump around there. I think I jumped a little later this time, but yeah, it's just that little bar that separates the two windows. And usually I get it. I've been missing it a lot lately, actually. It's like I'm getting the third tag lately, but I'm starting to miss the jump more. It's kind of annoying. Anyway, pretty straightforward. Tag up all the turf, go home, slide right into the marker, and listen to the lovely dialogue.
How you doing on the Fetty?
I'm kind of shocked, you know. Crash took all my
Cleaning the hood. If you don't already have a cop bike from Big Smoke, cleaning the hood is a good opportunity to get one. Basically, what you do is you try to get cop attention after killing the dealer. And if a bike spawns, great. If not, well, you can at least get maybe a cop car, something that's fast, facing the right direction. Generally preferred. You can bail out of the marker here. You can bail into the marker, rather, to speed things up. That way you don't get any car exit animation from both you and Ryder. It's just a little bit faster. Just sprint through this alley here and aim for your dude boy's head. Try not to miss or shoot him in the body. It's kind of annoying. Try not to get too close also, because you'll trigger the cutscene. And I didn't get any luck here, it seems. Yeah, I got a Saber facing the wrong direction. Kind of annoying, but Saber's still pretty fast.
Man, we on a serious mission.
And there's a cop bike, of course, after I pick up the saber, so that's great. So yeah, really short drive over to the crack house, crack den, whatever.
Yeah, let's shoot through and introduce
And now you're going to want to
ourselves.
go through for these 3 headshots. I think it's 3 guys. Yeah, it's 3 guys. Be sure not to shoot Ryder in the head. I've done that before. I think everybody's done that before. I almost did it there just now, even. I had my crosshair right over his head. Anyway, this cop cannot bust you. Just hold down the horn. That's going to be your horn button. For me, that's shift. Leave the door open by holding down sprint, of course, when getting into a vehicle. That way Ryder can just slide right on in. And if you're holding down the horn, that cop shouldn't do anything. He can't actually bust you. He's like a civilian that is dressed up in cop clothing. He can't arrest you. He could just be annoying and punch you. So that's about that. Sit through this cutscene and then drive through everyone's favorite mission. Go ahead and climb into the car. And just head down to the Cluckin' Bell. Drive through. I've seen some people fly through this marker. Just try not to do that. I approach it from the street, so that way I don't have any chance of doing that. But if you fly over the sidewalk, you can do that. Alright, here we go. Just line yourself up next to the passenger window. Make sure Sweet can shoot into the passenger window is basically what I'm saying. Sweet being the driver's side passenger in the rear there. Line up his window with the passenger window of the Voodoo, and then hope he shoots, and then run down the guy that comes out of the car and speed off to Grove Street. Nothing too complicated. RNG can kind of be annoying in terms of traffic and Sweet shooting. He just sometimes refuses to do that. But if you pull it off, head back to Grove, and then take Smoke back to his house. Easy to forget to take Smoke back to his house. And there you go, just slide right on in. And then it's back to the Grove for 9s and AKs. You're going to want to take a phone call before 9s and AKs. I take it in a certain way that allows me to skip most of the phone hang-up animation. If you're falling off of a height while that's happening, then you immediately regain full control of CJ, and I can start the mission faster. And that's what I try to do here, and I pull it off. You saw me fall down there a little bit, and I was able to quickly just sprint into the marker. The Glendale is not my favorite thing to drive, but it is what we must drive when we tote around Big Smoke. So just head on over to Emmett's. Be sure to not get your routes confused. Sometimes on drive-through I go to 9s and AKs. Sometimes on 9s and AKs I go to drive-through. It's ridiculous. It's easy to do when you're just not thinking. Alright, my favorite mission in the game, not really. The mouse controls are kind of horrid on this game, so you can easily miss bottles. Or maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just bad. Maybe I need to suck it up and admit that I'm just not the greatest. But there you go. 1, 2. Took me 5 shots to shoot 3 bottles. That's fine. That's 60% accuracy. It could be worse. But yeah, this is nothing too fancy. Just shoot the bottles quickly. Don't miss. Don't make an ass of yourself the way I do.
Oh man, check out Special Agent Big Smoke.
Special Agent Big Smoke, and then these 5 bottles here. Nothing too fancy, and then you're going to want to blow up the gas tank on this, as the game's about to tell you. BAM! And then just straight up drive back to Big Smoke's house. Like I said, nothing too complicated. OG Loke is probably the first mission in the game that isn't explicitly a tutorial in some way, shape, or form. Actually, no, I guess drive-through isn't a tutorial. It's just kind of a filler mission to break up the monotony of being taught things.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about the choices all men face.
But this is generally where I get out of like the mindset of we're in a tutorial, because that's kind of, I mean, Los Santos teaches you gameplay elements the entire time you're in it, all the way up to Los Sepulchros, basically. But basically, OG Loke, like I said, is where things start to open up a little bit. You get into more of the heart of Los Santos, not just, you know, East Los Santos and Ganton and Idlewood, I guess. So yeah, Sweet yells at you for not wearing Grove Street clothing. You just hang up that phone call and drive down to the Binco clothes shop, enter it, and exit it. You don't need to buy clothing at all. So no worries there. You just get right on back into Big Smoke's ride and cruise over to the OG Loke marker. I really care a lot about the drives you get on this mission. I really care about clean drives on this mission, fast drives. Because spinning out can just cost you so much time in San Andreas. It's really heartbreaking. If you ever watch me stream, I get so salty about it sometimes. So the way I gauge speed on this drive is by the dialogue. If all the dialogue is played out by the time I get to the marker, that's slow. If I get to the marker before Big Smoke says joyriding, that's usually really, really good. This was kind of slow because I spun out. And I was guaranteed salty about that. Like I said, spin outs waste you so much time in San Andreas. But you just go down to the precinct, pick up OG Loke, skip the cutscene, and now drive over to Freddy, which we all know was OG Loke's boyfriend on the inside. That's the implication anyway. Taking the highway here is pretty fast. Be careful when you cross over. You can sometimes hit oncoming traffic, and that's really annoying, especially on the highway, because everything's going so fast, and pile-ups happen just naturally. You don't even have to do anything. Traffic just loses its fucking mind. That stallion was kind of annoying. Would have preferred not to hit that. And, of course, I get a news van here, so I have to not take the line that I want around that corner. Just speed on into that marker, go up and ring the doorbell. And catch and kill Freddy. Alright, so this one a lot of new players have trouble with. What you're going to want to do is just go through these 3 alleys. This is the second one, this is the third one. And then veer off to the left, head down this hill here. And then do a quick 180 with your bike so you're facing the other way. I like to do a little lean back action so that I get a line up here. And just shoot until the bike catches fire. And then turn left here. It can be a little tricky. I kind of made it look easy there. Sometimes cars can be really rude to you and just like push you out of the way, give you a bad lineup. It really all depends. There is a backup for that in case you fail it. So you get another chance, but it does waste you a fair bit of time. After that, you just skip the cutscene and hope for a good vehicle, and then you just head over to the burger shop that OG Loke works at. I was lucky enough to get a bike that's pretty damn good RNG. Bikes are fast, bikes are versatile, bikes are light, all very good qualities in a vehicle. I would never take a perennial there. You know, those awful ass station wagons. I would never ever take one for this drive. I just simply straight up refuse. I also hate getting Bobcat. I desperately avoid trying to get a Bobcat on this drive because it's terrible. San Andreas is such a big game, and you spend so much time driving that the vehicles that you get when driving around are really important, you know? So good RNG with vehicles can save you a lot of time if you get it in clutch places. Like, this might actually be a... No, it's not a gold, but it is quite a nice time save. So, Life's a Beach. This is the first mission that you have to arrive at within a certain time frame. If you're too slow, you'll miss the window here. And that can be quite annoying, quite disheartening for new players. But don't worry. If you struggle with making it to Life's a Beach in time, just keep practicing those first 3 missions and you'll get there. OG Loke especially probably being the most complicated one. But anyway, the route you take on this mission is very important. I recommend you go back and look at the one that I just took to the beach. You're going to want to pick up a homie and recruit him. and then tug at this door here. And I like to do the disband strat. When he's entering the vehicle, I hit the disband key, and I hold it until CJ says, "See you later, homie," or something to that effect, and then you just very quickly shoot him and get back into the van. And that is the homie strat for this mission. Bypasses the dance, and all fancy things of that nature. It can take you, again, a while to get used to the timing for the disband. Not everybody does the disband strat, but I do. I find it pretty consistent. If you start holding disband while he's getting into the vehicle, that is the key. And, the reason the route is important to take is because if you take, like, a bad route to the beach, then it could affect your homie spawns, and you can effectively get none. If you don't get any homie spawns when going onto the beach, just go and trigger the cutscene. Just go drive towards the party, you'll get a cutscene. And then look back towards the beach for homies. They're usually you get spawns after that. If you don't, then that's pretty unlucky. Just keep driving around until you get some. Or reset, which I don't recommend. If you're new to the game, I would not recommend resetting. Just try and play it out. So there you go. Just drop off the van. And try and get a nice car when leaving. The drive is pretty short. I make it a point not to despawn traffic in this area because I've had game crashes when doing so. I kind of just went for it anyway there. I like how my commentary is immediately contradicted by my on-screen gameplay. Phone call here. Just go ahead, run into that barrier, get out, take the phone call. This is the gym phone call. Can't skip this cutscene. So you just wait it out, but it's pretty short. If you don't get the phone call here, it's probably because you have a wanted star. And wanted stars, of course, keep phone calls from coming in. But if that does happen, you can just take the phone call at Grove Street after Running Dog. Or, sorry, yeah, after Running Dog. So, Running Dog, I do what is called the console strat. Some people, you watch them and they do the headshot strat. That is also pretty good. But for me, the vehicle strat, the console strat, I don't think it really loses you that much time. It means you don't have to go looking around for a vehicle after you've shot your gun, which causes a lot of chaos in the immediate area. So yeah, skip that cutscene, and then to the right, there's a fixed clover here. It's here every single time. I just go ahead and get into it, turn around, and drive around the block, and then this is the guy you need to kill for this mission. Squish, mission passed. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. The headshot's kind of annoying to get, and if you miss it, it's kind of annoying to, you know, chase them down and still try and shoot them and kill them. So I just do this every time. I've said a lot on stream that I want to learn the headshot strat, though, and it might be worth it, I don't know. But in the meantime, that is effective enough. And you just head back to Grove Street. Again, if you didn't take the gym phone call after Life's a Beach, be sure to take it there. And drive by. Head into Rollin' Heights, Ballless Country. This mission is fun. It's pretty simple. You drive by 4 groups of Ballas on this mission. Pretty simple drive. And what you basically do during this mission, the strat, is to just run dudes over and then let your homies take care of the rest. Like, run those 2 dudes over and then let your homies blast down the other 2. This group, sometimes this group does not spawn. If you don't see this group spawned, turn your camera away from that location and then turn back and they should spawn. I see a lot of new people struggle with that, wondering what the hell's going on. Even I struggle with that too. I was not happy that that last ball took a while to die there, so that's why I shake my camera. That's a bad habit, and I would not recommend it, because shaking your camera madly like that can cause your game to crash in certain areas. So, don't flail your mouse if you get mad. Do something else. Like, scream. I don't know. Anyway, like I said, that mission's pretty straightforward. You got those 4 locations of balls, you just run them over. It's nothing too complicated. You're going to get the police attention after that. And, of course, you're going to want to cruise over to the pain spray. Sometimes cop spawns can be kind of annoying, and they can try to ram into you. Just, you know, be sure to dodge them to the best of your abilities. And then head on back to Grove Street. Pretty straightforward, like I said. Simple mission. I might have said that 5 times now. Take your homies back to the hood. And then Sweets Girl. Sweets Girl, honestly, one of the worst missions in the game. The AI enemies on this mission have freakishly good aim. And if you're not careful, they can gun you down in a heartbeat. So you're going to want to be careful. My way of doing this is very consistent. And it's, like, I feel like it's pretty simple, but I've played this mission so many times, so it might take you a few tries to get this down. But, just look for a nice car here. A Greenwood is totally fine. Spin it around if you have to. And just head over to Seville Boulevard Turf where Sweet and his girl eagerly await your arrival. I cannot speak English. And go ahead and run them over. That is what I do. I approach at an angle because if you approach them head on, then they tend to just bail out of the way, and that's annoying. But I run over the 3 dudes. I typically shoot the last 2. Or, sorry, I typically drive by the last guy on the road, and then the guy on the stairs, I get out and I shoot him. But no, if you struggle with that mission, that's normal. That's perfectly okay. It will take repetition for you to get used to that mission. Try not to dilly-dally too much if you're out of your vehicle, because you can get gunned down in a hurry. They will put holes in you. It is so annoying. Cruising up to Grove Street here. I'm gonna go for a bailout strat. I don't think I get it. Yeah, because there's a pedestrian in the way. Remember when we bailed out during cleaning the hood at that marker? You can do the same thing here, and it skips the cutscene where you get out of the vehicle. That's basically the same thing. Saves a couple seconds, but if you don't get it, don't worry. It's kind of hard to do there.